J.D. Vance completely outperformed Tim Walz in their one and only vice presidential debate, leaving the Democrats scrambling to recover. Kamala Harris has been steadily falling behind in the polls, especially in key swing states, while Trump continues to gain momentum. Walz's failure to deliver in the debate puts both him and Harris in a difficult position as we head into the last month of the campaign. In this video, I'll be updating my 2024 electoral map to show how the numbers have shifted for both Harris and Trump after the debate. I'll break down the states that are solidly in each candidate's corner and explain how the rest of the battlegrounds might play out as we approach Election Day. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. To start, let's look at the solid states, which are places where either Harris or Trump will win by more than 15 points. For Harris, these include Washington, California, Hawaii, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and Maine's 1st Congressional District. All of these give Harris a total of 109 electoral votes in her column. Trump, on the other hand, has a much larger share of solid states. He's expected to win Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, most of Nebraska except for the 2nd District, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, South Carolina, Alaska, and Maine's 2nd District. Trump also looks strong in Iowa, where his performance in both 2016 and 2020 was solid, and Vance's strong debate showing only bolstered his standing there. With these solid states locked in, Trump jumps to an early lead with 132 electoral votes compared to Harris's 109. Next up are the likely states, which are expected to go for either candidate by a margin of 7 to 15 points. These are still competitive, but are leaning clearly in one direction. For Harris, Oregon and Illinois are considered likely blue states, though her margins are expected to be smaller than Biden's in 2020. Biden won Oregon by 16 points and Illinois by 17, but Harris might only win these states by around 7 points. Moving to the Northeast, Harris is likely to win New York, New Jersey, and Delaware, but even these states have become more competitive recently due to scandals and Democratic leadership issues. From Andrew Cuomo's resignation in New York to corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams and Senator Bob Menendez in New Jersey, these problems are hurting Democratic support. This means Harris won't perform as well as Biden did in 2020 in these traditionally blue strongholds. In Colorado, Harris is likely to win, but again, not by the same margin as Biden did. While Biden won the state by nearly 14 points, Harris is expected to win by just over 7, keeping it in the likely blue category. For Trump, his likely states include Ohio, which has shifted more solidly Republican over the years. He flipped it in 2016 and won it again in 2020, and now he's expected to win by a double-digit margin in 2024. Texas is also in the likely red column, although it's been trending more competitive in recent elections. Trump won Texas by 6 points in 2020, but this year he's expected to widen that margin to 10 points or more. Florida, once considered a key battleground state, is now firmly leaning toward Trump. In 2020, Biden was expected to do better in Florida, but he ended up losing by a wider margin than Hillary Clinton did in 2016. Given Governor Ron DeSantis' massive 20-point win in 2022, Trump is expected to win Florida by 7 to 10 points this November. With both the solid and likely states filled in, Trump's lead extends to 219 electoral votes, while Harris has 191. This puts Trump just 51 electoral votes away from securing the presidency. We're now left with 12 states. These are the lean and tilt states, the most competitive ones on the map, holding 128 electoral votes between them. These battlegrounds are where the election will be decided. Let's start with the lean blue states for Harris. These are states where she's expected to win by a margin of 2 to 7 points. In the Northeast, Harris is likely to win New Hampshire and Maine, but her margins will be smaller than what Biden or Clinton achieved in previous elections. Biden won New Hampshire by over 7 points in 2020, but Harris will likely only win by 4 to 6 points this time. New Mexico, a state that has been reliably blue for several election cycles, is also expected to go for Harris, but the Hispanic vote in the state is shifting more toward Republicans, making it a lean blue state rather than solidly blue. Harris is underperforming among minority voters compared to Biden. which is a concerning sign for Democrats in states with significant Hispanic populations like New Mexico. For Trump, his lean red states include Arizona, North Carolina, and Georgia. Arizona, which Biden narrowly won in 2020, is expected to flip back to Trump as he's been consistently leading in the polls there. In North Carolina, Trump has won the state in both 2016 and 2020, and he's likely to win again by around 3 points. Georgia, which was the closest state in 2020, is also leaning back toward Trump. Biden's narrow victory there was a historic moment, but Georgia remains a fundamentally conservative state, and Trump is favored to win it by about 3 points this time around. With these lean states accounted for, Trump is getting closer to the 270 electoral votes needed to win. Pennsylvania is shaping up to be the key state in this election. It's seen as a must-win for both sides, and if Trump takes Pennsylvania, he's very likely to clinch the presidency. Trump narrowly won Pennsylvania in 2016, but lost it to Biden in 2020. However, polling suggests he's regained the lead, and he's now favored to win the state again. Wisconsin is another critical battleground in the lean red category. Walz's poor debate performance didn't do Harris any favors here, and Trump's standing in Wisconsin looks strong. He narrowly won the state in 2016 and came close in 2020, and polling shows that he's tied with Harris at this point, which is a good sign for Trump. Finally, we have the tilt states, those expected to be decided by less than 2 points. Nebraska's 2nd district is likely to tilt blue, while Nevada is a potential flip for Trump. Nevada has been trending more Republican in recent elections, and with a Republican governor winning there in 2022, Trump has a real shot at flipping it. In Michigan, another key battleground, Trump is expected to win back the state after narrowly losing it to Biden in 2020. The last 2 states, Minnesota and Virginia, are expected to tilt blue but remain competitive. Virginia, which Biden won by 10 points, is much closer this time around, and Minnesota, while likely to stay blue thanks to Walz being on the ticket, is also closer than Democrats would like. In the end, after the first and likely only Vance Walz debate, Trump is sitting at 312 electoral votes, while Harris trails with 226. Trump is gaining momentum in key battlegrounds like Wisconsin, and Minnesota is becoming increasingly competitive.